What's going on, everybody? I'm Terrence, and this is Bank Shipping. All right, everybody, good morning, good morning. Like I always say, if you ain't already up, go ahead and get up, start that grind. I guess I should have told myself that this morning, because I can't tell you the last time that I overslept or didn't, wake up when my alarm went off or whatever. But I don't know what happened to me this morning. I wanted to get on the road by 4, just because I had 2 stops in New Jersey today and then got to go back and pick up another load from the customer. So I wanted to, get up early, get it done, get back, so I wasn't messing around all day. And so I set my alarm for 3, and I don't know if I woke up in the middle of my sleep and turned it off or what. But when I opened up my eyes, I looked at my phone and it was 5:20. And so I'm like, crap, I gotta jump up, hurry up and get everything, to get on the road. And so needless to say, I'm about 2 hours behind of what I wanted to be, but it's all right. These customers, it's not a drop-off time. It's first come, first serve. So that didn't hurt me at all, but I am behind of what I wanted to be. So it might be a little bit longer day than I wanted, but it is what it is. Roll the good with the bad. So we actually just got unloaded here at the first stop. They was actually really fast. So we're gonna go ahead and head up to the second stop, which is in Trenton. I'm in Vineland, New Jersey right now, and we're gonna head up to Trenton, get the rest of this stuff off, and then head back. So so far so good. The old girl's first load, going into New Jersey. So far so good. Still bumpy, regardless of whether I'm in a pickup or in this, it's still bumpy. These roads are crap. So but I'm gonna go ahead, head up to Trenton, and I'll catch y'all there. All right, guys, so we made it to our second stop up here in Trenton. What a rough ride that was up 295. I've seen all types of, from going to my first drop now to my second drop. They got litter pickup crews all over the place. Well, they might as well just throw the entire New Jersey Department of Transportation in the trash with it, because their road maintenance is terrible. Absolutely ridiculous. I'd be shocked, if you looked under some of these bridges up here, you might find the same thing that they found down there in Memphis on I-40. But anyway, so we're here. They got it's on a tight street and tight entrance and all that good stuff. So they got 2 trucks that are in there right now. One's getting loaded, one's getting unloaded. So we gotta wait. So let me see if I can get out here without getting hit by a car, because they're flying up and down this road. So this is what we got. It was only a 40-foot load to begin with. It was 10 total skids. So it all fit on my bottom deck. There was 5 skids back here that I dropped off at my first stop. And then these 5 go to this stop right here. So you can see down there, there's a car parked right at the edge of the corner there. So it was a little bit tight getting in through there, especially trying to watch the tail swing. Because that's one thing about this trailer, since the axles are a little further forward than a normal 53. Normal 53 would have them back here. But the way Diamond C makes these trailers so that they can scale right, especially on a pickup, they slide the axles forward. And it's also kind of a California thing. Since, these axles don't slide, you wouldn't be California legal the way that these were, because of the axle grouping. So that's why they slide them up forward. So it makes turning a little easier because they are slid forward. So you can turn a little tighter and not have to worry about tire scrub as much. But because they are up forward, it's like 8, it's 10 feet, just under 10 feet from, the rear axle back here. So it's got a bit of tail swing. I'm pretty much used to it now. but you still, you know, when you get in these tight places like, you know, up here in Jersey and stuff, you still got to watch yourself. So but anyway, got in here. So the entrance is right here at this open gate. So I just started, you know, I just set out on the street, and then once these two trucks, well, once this one truck is done loading and the other truck is done unloading, then we will go ahead and squeeze in there where they're at and get unloaded. So I'll catch y'all in a little bit after we do that. All right, guys, so we are in Beltsville, Maryland. We got that load dropped off, the 2-stop load in Jersey dropped off. Yesterday came back, got another load that goes to, or that came to, was supposed to go to Bethesda. But when I got to Bethesda this morning, after I traveled the nice tight streets of Bethesda and battled the morning rush hour and all that, and the job site was really tight, had a bunch of trucks already there, they told me that they had no way to unload me, and they didn't know why I came here and not their yard. So after sitting there for about an hour and a half, they finally told me to take it to their yard in Baltimore instead of, because they had no way to unload me in Bethesda. So I waited for about another 30 minutes, and then the guy came back and said, no, you're not going to go to Baltimore now, you're going to go to Beltsville. So here I am now in Beltsville. So got a nice 48-foot load, full tarp, except for, you know, no tarp right here, just because 8-foot drops don't get down that far when you're coming off the step. But that little bit ain't gonna hurt. This is a new product that I've hauled. It's not a new product for them, but I've never hauled this type of product before. And it's super brittle. Sorry if I was a little close there. It's super brittle. It's almost like that stuff that you, like that foam that you put like fake flowers in, that green stuff, that real brittle stuff. It's like that, except for it's not green, it's brown. So it goes on the inside. They're putting it like under, in between the roof structure or whatever of each floor of these condos that they're building. But you know, like I said, they didn't have nowhere to unload me, so here we are. So we're going to get ready to untarp and unstrap, get everything put away. I was supposed to go back and get another load of this stuff that came back to Bethesda on Monday, but because the city has been complaining about that job site, they postponed that load. So while after I get done unstrapping and tarping and stuff, I'll go see if I can find me a load or whatever, or call my buddy who's a dispatcher and see if he can find me something. But one thing before I go and do this untarping and all this stuff, show you guys the compliments of New Jersey. Hold on, let me see if I can get it. See that here? Watch this. I don't know if y'all can see it moving or not. So what that was is compliments of New Jersey and their crappy roads. So the hanger on the fender right here, see if I can get it close enough for you guys to see. See that? It's broke all the way through. I mean, that's 1/4-inch steel. Yeah, I mean, it had been cracking. As you can see, there was a little bit of surface rust from where the paint had started to flake or whatever. But I did not think that it was going to break like that. I thought, you know, it might get loose or something like that, but I didn't think that going up and down the roads, at least you wouldn't think. But I guess I should have known going to New Jersey and Pennsylvania, but never thought that I'd be able to do that. So really the only thing that's holding this bracket on, instead of, you know, all 3 bolts, you know, these 2 and this bolt holding that bracket on, it's really only this bolt holding that bracket on. So after I dropped this load, and it actually, from the vibration, broke my fender right here. So yay, these fenders are trash. So the good thing is it's not really, I mean, it's rubbing my tire a little bit, like when I go over bumps. You can see just like a little bit of rubbing going on right there, but it's not too terrible. You know, there's still plenty of clearance in there. It's not cutting into it or anything like that. So once I get out of here, I will over the weekend these fenders will come off. So might put a set of quarter fenders or something like that on it, so I don't have to rely on, you know, these types of brackets just going and bumping up and down the road. It looks good, but you know, I have functional mud flaps back here, so I don't really need a half or a full fender. I can go with a quarter fender, so we'll see. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, get this stuff unstrapped and untarped so we can go ahead and get out of here. So I'll catch y'all in a minute. All right guys, so we finally got our load dropped off. Had to wait a little bit because they had to get their yard guy back so that he could unload me, but that was fine. That allowed me to take my time when I was tarping or untarping and rolling up my tarps and everything, because it was, or not was, it's hot. We're at, I think it's like 92 or something like that right now. So in order to not kill myself, I was able to take my time, and still sweating. I feel like my shirt's still a little soaking. I dried a little bit, but I didn't book anything else for the day because I wanted to get back and get a jump start on some of the stuff that I have to do. You know, getting those fenders off, and then I also want to run a dedicated plug from my truck to my trailer, just for the air ride on the trailer. Just because the wires that are in the trailer, the size, it has a hard time keeping up sometimes. You know, if I'm not using it as much, it's okay, but like, you know, going through Jersey and stuff, all the bumps and banging, you know, that air ride, you know, trying to keep the pressure in those bags, was constantly working. So, you know, trips like those, it works the crap out of those batteries, so they get a little low. And you know, the last thing I want is for them to actually go dead, because then I wouldn't have any brakes either. So I want to run a dedicated plug to alleviate that. You know, I actually talked to somebody from Diamond C about it, and you know, some guys who have bought dump trailers, that use dump trailers a lot, they have actually done the same thing, to where basically you don't even really need the batteries anymore, because it's a dedicated plug from your batteries in your truck to the trailer, so it'll essentially run directly off the truck while the truck is running. So I'm gonna do that, get those fenders off, a couple of little other odds and ends that I want to do, since it's nice outside and everything like that, that I can get done. So but I do have, you know, my buddy on the lookout for loads, who's a dispatcher, and I will actually put his information somewhere up here, you know, so if you guys are looking for a good dispatcher, you can give him a call. He was a dispatcher for a broker that I worked for. He was the only guy that I actually talked to at that brokerage. He dispatched all my loads, and then he decided to move on and do his own thing. So he's been in the trucking industry for a long time. He's been a driver, you know, he's been on the dispatch side for a broker. Now he's a dispatch side for himself. So, you know, he's got a lot of knowledge about the trucking industry, which makes it even better when, you know, you're looking for a dispatcher. I haven't really gone too much into, you know, on videos into dispatching, just because I don't really use a dispatcher. I've always dispatched my own loads. You know, when a customer calls me, I dispatch that, you know, my own load. But now that I have this and I get into some dead zones, I'd rather not be looking on the load board while trying to drive or something like that, or missing out on the load because I didn't see it in time. So I went ahead and signed up with him. So we actually haven't connected on a load yet, just because I've been running the same thing over and over and over again. So there's really no time for me to run anything else. So hopefully we can connect on that. And yeah, so if you guys are looking for a dispatcher, there's a couple things you want to look out for, as far as how good the dispatcher is. Me personally, and everybody will have their own opinions, but my opinion is I want a dispatcher who knows the industry. So having somebody who's driven, who's sat in this seat, as well as dispatch, that makes it even better for them, because they know the industry, they know what it's like to be a driver, they know what drivers go through, so I think that is one of the big key factors when it comes to looking for a dispatching service. Also, you got to look to see, if that dispatcher is going to tailor to your needs. The guy, my friend that I work with, he knows my needs because he's dispatched me before from a broker. He knows I stay local. He knows the areas that I run in and things like that, So if you're a hotshot, or even if you're in a semi and you're looking for a dispatcher and you're trying to stay local, but you go out and find a dispatcher who's used to just being able to find the load where you're at and it take you anywhere, you might have some issues, So those are things that you want to talk to those dispatchers about when you're thinking about signing up with them. Don't just sign up with the dispatcher because they have the lowest dispatcher rate. Now, of course, you don't want to have a super high dispatcher rate because you want to keep as much money in your pocket as possible, right? That's the name of the game, right? But don't take the lowest percentage dispatcher service just because of that. They might not be as good as somebody else, and you know what they say, you get what you pay for. So don't let that be the number one factor that you go with the dispatching services because of the percentage that you have to give or whatever. And then also you got to look at, do they force dispatch? Are they going to penalize you if they find you a load and you don't want to take it? So there's a lot of things, a lot of fine print, little small fine print in those agreements that you got to look out for when you're looking for dispatchers and things like that. But all in all, finding a dispatcher is pretty straightforward. You find somebody that you like, you have something in common with, they're good to you, they know your needs, they don't charge you too much. It's all common sense when it comes to business practices. There's not a special thing that you really have to look for. It's a whole plethora of things. You want all those things. You might find a dispatcher that has everything that you're looking for, or you might have to settle for one or two things that you're looking for but they don't have, but it might be the best option for you. So just keep that in mind. Just a little tidbit. Like I said, I can't really speak personally from dispatching services just because I never used one until now. So I'm not familiar, I don't really know how great it is. But just off of common sense business practices and things like that, I can tell you some things to look for. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for a dispatching service. Like I said, I'll put, my guy's contact information up there. If you guys are looking for something as far as dispatcher services, he's super familiar with flatbed and hot shots and stuff like that. Even got a couple box trucks I think he has that he's dispatching for. So great guy. I almost talk to him even if he, we haven't hooked up on a load. He's a good friend. I talk to him about once a week. So if that tells you anything, if I like him, you'll probably like him too. But anyway, that's enough for me jabbering. Hope everybody has a good weekend, safe weekend. Spend some time outside, if it's nice outside. I'm gonna go ahead and get a jump start on all this extracurricular activity maintenance I have to do. And then I'll get back with you guys Monday, hopefully, that I have something Monday that I can show you guys. So with that being said, stay prayed up, grind hard, and stay humble.